Hey church, welcome to Thursday of Holy Week Unwind. And so today we're going to be in John chapter 13. And so if you start John chapter 13, just start in verse 1. Pretty familiar story, you'll probably recognize it. We're looking at the story of when Jesus took the time to wash the feet of his disciples. And so the big thing that Jesus is pitching in this whole story is who he is, why he came. It's important to not just, we want to understand that Jesus is king, but we want to understand more than that. We want to know the character of God. Who is he? And Jesus shows us time and time again, but in a really unique way in this story, that he is a loving king, that he is a king who is passionate about his people and is willing to serve. He shows us throughout the story as he unveils his kingdom that it's an upside down kingdom where the whole idea that we have of servants and masters is all flipped on its head. And so Jesus, as he's sitting down and having supper with his followers, he sits down with them and he takes a towel and ties it around his waist. He fills up a bowl of water and he begins to wash his disciples' feet. And he tells them that in his kingdom, things are backwards, that service is greater than being served. Jesus tells us that he came not to be served, but to serve. But what I really want to key in on in this whole passage, in this whole story, is this. In the beginning of the passage, it says that Jesus looked at his followers and he loved them. And he loved them to the end. And this is important because when we look throughout the biblical narratives, when we look throughout the gospel accounts of Jesus, we see time and time again that when he sees people, he's driven by something inside of him. He feels something. He's drawn to people. He loves people. And so it's the same thing when he looks at his followers, he loves them. And that drives him to action. It drives him to serve them. When Jesus saw the crowds of people, it says that he had compassion on them and then he went and he fed them. That's the story of the fish and the loaves. And here Jesus sees his disciples and he loves them, so he serves them. And then Jesus calls us as his followers to do the same. He says that if you see this, if you understand this, then you're blessed if you also do it. And so we're called to love and to serve. But when we're in a situation like we're in right now, and we're not seeing people the way that we always see them, it sometimes gets really easy for us to suddenly become self-focused, to only look at my needs, to look at how am I going to make it through today? How am I going to make it to tomorrow? How am I going to survive through all of this? And yet Jesus, as he's coming into the time that he would face his own death, was focused on others, was focused on serving, was focused on loving, and tells us to do the same. So right now, as we gear up for Holy Week, as we look to pressing in and being closer than ever before to King Jesus, we are called to love. We're called to love people and to serve people in whatever capacity that might be right now. However you can serve people right now, whether that just be through phone calls, through staying in touch, through loving your family in new ways, turning off the TV and being present with your wife and kids, video conferencing with your parents, whatever that might be, learning to love and serve in new ways, because that is what followers of Jesus are commanded to do. And that's what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus. So I hope this encourages you. I hope that you'll try and find new ways to love and to serve. And I'll see if I can maybe get my wife to come finish washing my feet for me. I have a feeling I'm probably going to have to do it myself, but I'll see you guys tomorrow.